would just agree that villagers in Minecraft are OP. Today I built the farmer's area so I can get unlimited emeralds for the late game. And this area is only a small part of the rest of the area that I have planned. But I've got to start somewhere, and that where is right here in this village. Well, I have to transport 2 of these miscreants over to the area that I'm gonna build. But as we all know, villagers in Minecraft are such a pain to transport around. But I'd better just get it over with. But first, I had to look for some salmon, because I found a cat which I just had to bring back home with me. Well, I couldn't find any, so I had to leave the cat behind. And back to the matter at hand, getting rich. So I completely legally, of course, locked the villagers in their houses by covering up their only exits with dirt. But look, I found salmon. I've got to get these cats now. Yes, can't leave them behind, never. Back on track. 2 villagers went in the same house, and I took that opportunity to make these 2 my forever prisoners. But of course, this wasn't an easy task, no. But believe it or not, the villagers weren't the problem. No, in fact, they were quite cooperative, though the cats, not so much. But first, I had to find the workstations of the villagers, and I could tell that they were very stylish farmers. So when I looked for the matching composters, I removed all the ones that I came by, but when I came back, the villagers still had their jobs. So I had to go another round, and nothing. Though I did not give up. Instead, I took the excess dirt I had and built myself up so I could look over this little village from my level, way above. And there it was, a composter. After the removal of the composter, I went back to my prisoners to find out both of them suddenly had no jobs. So lovely. They shared their job and a single bed. After getting one of the villagers in a boat, I had to find a way to get the other one in a separate boat. And this is when trouble came around. One of the cats decided to take my spot. Can you believe it? I mean, come on. So I had to dig a hole for the cat so it could think about what it had done. And of course, I learned from my mistake and sat the cats down ASAP so it wouldn't happen again. When I was sure the villagers were ready to work again, I popped the one nut in the hole out of its boat and lured it over to the spot by tickling its desire to work with the composter. And it went great. No problems there, which was quite sus. I repeated this process with the other one, and again, no trouble. They were so eager to work. I mean, it's insane. If everyone in the real world were this dedicated, am I right? Well, now that the worst part is over, I could go ahead and grab the needed materials for the breeder. When I came back to build it, everything went quite smoothly and the build was done in no time. Then when I went back to go steal some bits from the village, I realized that I had completely forgotten about the cats. So of course, I grabbed them and brought them back home as I also needed some more deep slate. Oh, and by the way, you don't have to worry. This breeder will definitely not stay exposed forever. I mean, it's ugly. But I am determined to get better tools first. So I'll focus on getting emeralds. And look, babies. Nothing is more satisfying than seeing babies popping out behind all those beautiful red hearts. In Minecraft. Oh, where's your mind at? Now that is done and working, time to get moving to the trading section. I love discounts and getting valuable items for a very scammy price, which is why I will pretend to be a wholehearted, generous hero for these gullible big noses and save them from those awful zombies. Well, after they die, of course. But to do so, I need to channel my inner witch and cook up some delicious weakness potions, but these require spider eyes. This is why I went ahead and built a spider spawner. This process should be quite simple, but the spider spawner happened to be in a mineshaft, and this made the digging process a bit tricky, but nothing I couldn't handle. Though I did get distracted by the mineshaft and a bit of exploring. Soon after, I was almost finished with the spawner, but went on a stroll down the mineshaft, and there I found a cave spider spawner. I got attacked by one of those little creatures from hell, and I couldn't seem to kill it. But as always, I handled the situation like a pro. And there it was. The spawner was finished. Maybe it needs a bit of decorating later on? No, yeah, definitely. Now that I have a slow but endless supply of spider eyes for brewing, I could move on to designing the farmer's area. This happened in my creative world, because I'm exploring a style that I have never done before, but I'm taking the challenge head on. So here you can see a bit of the designing process, and obviously it's a very weird and different style, but I kinda like it. And I for sure knew that I wanted a lot of towers, which is also clear to see. Besides that, I wanted to have the green colors not being so clear and vibrant, so I decided to use tinted glass. This way, I could also make the lighting inside super cool, having it artificial and all. Now that I got an overall idea of the build, I could start gathering materials. I needed 42 stacks of tinted glass, and to make things even worse, I don't have a good way of getting either glass or amethyst shards. But sand takes no time to gather, unlike amethyst. But it'll come together eventually. Then I went ahead and gathered some deep slate because I needed a lot of that too. While strip mining, I found a good amount of diamonds, so those will be saved for later use. Then I could gather warp wood from the nether, and in this adventure I had a close call with death as I was digging straight up into lava, but luckily I survived. The warp forest, although, was in a very inconvenient place, so I decided to bring back home with me the materials for farming the wood. This way I can always get more whenever I need, and I will need. Meanwhile, all this, I had been back and forth between the geodes, which I had found. It started with only one small small geode, but after looking around at the cave, I realized that there were actually 2 more pretty close, which I dug out. This made the process a bit faster. Now that I have all the needed materials, I could go ahead and get the build started. I just started the building from the bottom, where I had to build some ground, as I wanted the building to be at a higher level. This way I could have the zombie queuing station right beneath it. So I built the ground and built the rest up from there. So, change of plans, guys. The replay recording that I had of me building the building, it died on me. I think it's because it's too long of a video and like something couldn't handle it. At first I tried splitting it up into multiple smaller videos, but that didn't work. Then I tried making like a copy of it and cutting smaller pieces so I would delete the rest of it. Still that didn't work, even when I tried cutting it in the middle, and then I tried cutting it in thirds. Then I tried cutting at 13 minutes, and then I tried cutting at 9 minutes, and none of it has worked. You can see on screen what happens. If anyone knows what's going on, if there's a way for me to recover the file, or if it's just gone forever, please let me know, or tell me what went wrong so I can avoid doing that again. When I got to the roof, it started being a bit harder, as first of all, I wanted to place buttons where it was mob spawnable. Aside from that, I wanted these spikes on top, and I wanted to smooth them out with stairs. So this process, as you see now, went on for quite a while. I actually may have spent more than an hour just running around on the roof getting this done. But I still wasn't actually done, because I also needed to make the tips more pointy, so I had to get on top of every one of them to place fences and walls. During the building process, I had to gather more materials as I was running out. This forced me to run back and forth from the starter house even more times, and I am so ready to get elytra, which is why I need to fix up my tools so I can build this area done and go to the end. But for that, I need some librarians, and I want them to be zombie cured. This is why I had to find a zombie so he could help me do the dirty work. At first, I tried to spawn him inside the building, but the game wasn't working with me on this idea, as I ran back and forth a couple of times, and I only ever got skeletons, so I changed tactics and looked in a cave, and immediately I had more luck. I lured the zombie over to the edge of the cave, but then I had to build a roof for it to go under, as I didn't want him to burn in the sun. After I did that, I just lured him into a minecart, and now he's ready to kill some villagers. I spent a couple of hours getting some librarians sorted. All I really wanted was unbreaking and mending, but I couldn't pass the offer of a silk touch book, protection book, and efficiency 5 book. But after finally getting the needed books, I could go right ahead and add mending to my tools, though I accidentally wasted an unbreaking book on my axe because I wasn't paying attention. But it's no big deal, as the unbreaking books are quite cheap after zombie curing the villagers. To repair my tools, I went back down to the spider spawner and got the XP, and it took ages. But now that my tools work a little again, I can go ahead and make the interior and detail the rest of the building. But first, I went to go get some more deep slate, and there I found a couple more diamonds. But I accidentally burned one as I was too lazy to check if there was lava around. Rookie mistake. I know. I also needed some more blackstone, so I went on another trip to the nether to mine some of that. When I came back, I found a skeleton and a creeper, and thought, why don't I try and get a music disc? So that's what I did. But the skeleton didn't really want to help me out killing the creeper, but it finally did, and I got my music disc. Enough distractions. Now it's time to finish the building. The inside is made of abstract circles in different heights and farmland in each. This way it's not plain flat ground. In here all the farmer villagers are gonna stay, and I will be needing a lot more of them. On the outside, I just decorated with some more warped wood to bring back the blue color. I had a couple different designs on the sides of the towers, which is just brought back again and again. Sadly, I'm close to running out of iron, so I had to stop using lanterns and switch them out with just soul torches. But that just means an iron farm is on the way. So as you can see, the color scheme of this project for now is actually only black and blue, and then the gray on the ground, which I also extended. So all there's left to do now is to fill this build up with farmers, but this will have to be another episode. But next time it's all about getting to the end and getting the trading village set up.